Alright YouTube, NG Medic here, and I'm going to do a little mini series of videos, leather working, how to make a holster, or anything out of leather. I'm self-taught, so if you're an expert leather worker, you can make fun of me if you want, but I've never had anything I make break on me, and I've been doing it for about 6-7 years now. So some of the stuff you see, probably not the way you would do it, but it's the way I've adapted to do it. It's cheaper than buying all this expensive stuff. You don't have to buy all the expensive stuff. So this first video is going to be over the equipment you may need. I want to start with the bare minimums, cheapest way possible to do it, and then I'll show you some of the little bit more expensive stuff I have, which I think the most expensive tool I have is like $13 or $14. And so yeah, and that's just because I bought it at a Tandy leather factory. They're a little bit more expensive. Alright, so basic things you're going to need. You need a working surface. Here in my kitchen, got a couple of cutting boards, so I don't mark the table. You're going to need something to work with. This is what I'm making a holster for this video. It's a llama. It's not loaded, nothing amazing, so always make sure what you're working with is unloaded. Alright, you're going to need needles for your leather, for your stitching. Honestly, these are from Walmart. Go into their craft section, it's like $2. Package a bunch of needles with big eyes. That's all you'll need. I've never bought anything different. $2. You are going to need a kind of thread. I usually use sinew. This isn't sinew. This is synthetic type sinew stuff. The real sinew is like horsehair with wax over it. You can get it online. You can get it at your leather store. Just look around, or you can go to like Walmart, find you some thick twine or thick, type of thread. That'll work fine too, as long as it's nice and strong. That's all that matters. You will need something to punch the leather. Be it a little nail, which granted, using this nail is going to be harder than a punch, but you know how I started? I used a nail. You can get you a little single punch, a little round single hole punch. These run you probably $3 or $4. You can find stuff that's shaped like this and just like this at like Lowe's. A little bit more expensive, a little 4-hole punch. I think this was maybe $7 at a leather store. And the one I use currently, craft tool. It has 6 punches, and they make like a little cross, and it's harder to tear the thread out of the leather work. And this is like a $14, $15 tool. It's a little more expensive. You don't need to start with this. I got it just because I had a little bit extra money, and it was there and it looked cool. But the nail will work fine. Any of those punches I showed you will work just fine. So you've got your working surface, what you're going to work on. You've got your punches. You got your thread, your needles. You need something to cut it with. I started with just a knife. I still use just a knife and scissors. So a razor blade knife is fine. Scissors, if the leather's thin enough, can't go wrong with scissors. But the leather has to be pretty thin leather. Can't be very thick because you'll spend a lot of time. So a knife. You guys have knives. Go in your kitchen and get you a knife. That's all you need. You'll need a mallet. Guess what? This is what I use. It's the same one I use for my tent. when I go camping. I don't have that much money, so this is what I use. Works just fine. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. You're going to need some leather to work with. My advice to you, walk into the leather store. Go to the scrap bin. Pick you out some scrap leather that you like. Try and find some kind of thin leather. Feels sturdy. That's all you need. I got this big piece of leather for $6 at Springfield Leather Company. I highly suggest if you're in Missouri, go to Springfield Leather Company. They're very good. There's other leather shops that will screw you. You're going to walk in there and they're going to try and sell you the most expensive piece of $40 leather that's thick. You won't be able to work with it because you're going to walk in there and they're going to make you feel like an idiot. You're not an idiot. I mean, I walk into a leather store and I have no clue what they're talking about. So I just make a beeline to the scrap leather, pick out what I need, check out, and leave because they're trying to sell you a bunch of crap. So go to the leather store, pick you out a piece of leather that looks big enough for your project. Use your eyeball it. Two times as big as what you're wanting to make, just so you can have extra to work with. And pick you up some leather. Use common sense on that one. You want to make a mold, or you want to make a like a blueprint for your holster. And I save mine, so I make them out of paper. I make them out of cardboard. This is for a concealment holster, and you save them. You'll want to make a little blueprint. You're going to want to mold your leather. That's how I make my holsters. So you're going to need some clamps. All different, 2 or 3 different sizes of clamps is fine, or just one different size. Or no clamps. I started with no clamps. But if you want to start making fitted holsters, which this was made out of scrap right here, so it's not that pretty to look at. But you can see how it's all fitted and molded. You're going to need clamps. But like I said, don't take this holster as anything. This was made out of 2 scrap pieces of leather that I had laying around. I just want to make a quick concealment holster, so that's what I did. And it works just fine. Alright. Also for your clamps, you're going to want some little pieces of extra leather so that you don't mark the leather that you're working on. And you're going to want a pen to mark out your outline. Oops. I think I covered everything. I got the punches, got the knives, got the needles, thread, leather, mallet, working surface, leather to pick out, everything like that. When you get a little more into it, you go buy little stamps. This makes a basket weave. It's really annoying, but it makes a pretty holster. So stay tuned, and I probably forgot something, but stay tuned, and the next video up will be preparation, and we'll start working on making the holster.